Hey everyone, how you doing today? Thought I would show you an update, well, kind of a preview of this Palisade IOC, which stands for Imperial Operation Center. So I finally got this thing. It's just about done. I've got like all the interior finished up. I've got a few more little things I want to do to it before releasing it, and I'll probably release it either tomorrow or Thursday is my game plan. Now I know I keep on pushing it back. Sorry about that. It's been taking longer than I thought. Even from the last video, I thought I had about 4 or 5 more hours of time left in it, and I've probably put in another 12 in it since then, and I still got some more things to do. So on modifications and changes since the last video, I changed these solar panel setups. I raised them off the ground another block row so they got some legs below there, matching the rest of the base. So when you spawn it, it kind of has that block leeway to place in the ground. It's still going to be a fairly challenging base to put on flat ground, or find enough flat ground to do that with. I'm in creative right now, and obviously it's very flat where I'm at, which it's not really a problem to spawn the base this way, but it's going to be a little more difficult in gameplay. So that is one side effect to the design. Now these solar panel arrangements do have a turret on the corners of each going around the base, so that gives you some nice coverage actually for against like drone attacks and things like that. Now it has 4 turrets on here stock, but there's locations to add quite a few more turrets. You got a couple turret mounts over here on the back, 2 there, 2 per side over here, 2 on this location on the kind of the front side, and another one up top over here as well. You can kind of get an idea what the whole base is looking like. And yeah, anyway, let's do the tour on the inside here. Before I forget to, I fixed the Carrack. The Carrack didn't have oxygen in the bridge. That was because it was only lacking a ventilator that I forgot to put back in when I was doing last minute changes to the ship. I did finally do it. I forgot to do it earlier. I did update the blueprint before this video, so it is fixed on the Steam Workshop now. Just want to let you know that. So on the inside here, we'll do the nighttime thing too, which is pretty dark, but yeah. Anyway, on the inside, it comes stock with 12 640K storage bays and 6 320K storage bays. It comes stock with 2 advanced constructors, and you have locations to add in another 6, either constructors or deconstructors, a teleporter, repair bay, and console, which are on the other side. The console goes here. Repair bay is meant to go in this slot here below the floor. And I off-centered it because there was a comment that basically said when you have it in the center of the base, it's very disruptive for traffic getting around the hangar. And I agree. It makes a lot of sense. So I had to push the OCD aside and just kind of put the repair bay on one side and call it good over here. I think that should work out better, so you kind of park a tank or vehicle or something over here and then not disrupt your center of the hangar. So beyond that, you can also add 6 furnaces. That's in, you know what, I want a little bit more light. I hate to say it, but it's just been kind of too dark on planets. That didn't help much, did it? Let's go a little bit more. A little bit of light. Okay, so you have locations to add in 6 furnaces in the base, and this location's over here and on the other side. So you can kind of walk right in there and place them, or you can just stand in front and place them. I might put up a little guardrail. I was just thinking about that. I kind of, so you don't like fall in here or get too close to the furnace when you're messing with it to get burnt. So beyond that, let's go to the next floor here. The rest of the base I really didn't show much because it wasn't done. Oh, I'm missing a texture in the elevator. Note to self, missing texture in elevator. So farm deck number 1, there's 3 farm decks on here. So it's looking like this in the end here. Got a lot of, it's got 272 total grow plots in the base. And these are all filler blocks over here, so you'd replace these either with regular farm grow plots or just the center block if you're using the the enhanced Reforged Eden farms that fill up the 3x3 area, and then you can leave all these outer blocks as kind of decorative, something below there. And that's kind of a neat option. So each one of this alternative textures here, here, and here is where you would actually put in a single grow plot in that scenario, and then the 3x3 Reforged Eden grow plots would go above that. Then you have your grow light switches for on this floor. It's different on every floor, but like this switch over here will do these on the side, and then there's another one for the center and another one for the other side. Across this room over here, you have your main core, which is just in the little core room over here. And down over on the front side is where you have you got 3 fridges and a couple food processors and a nice view to see outside for cosmetic reasons. And yeah, that's about it there. So moving up to the next floor. More of the same. This one's holding a few oxygen tanks in here as well, but you got 3 grow plot lanes, 3 grow plot light switches. Yeah, and some more fridges and food processors off the front. I'm trying something a little different with the fridge display over here. Just curious what you think of it. I get kind of tired of doing the same thing over and over again. Could have put a fridge in the location a little bit differently than I did, but I wanted to try something new, and I thought that looked kind of neat. On the front side here is where you've got your core room and shield room. So you can add in, it comes stock with 1 basic CPU core. It has room to add 2 improved CPU cores and 4 advanced CPU cores in this area, and then a standard size or a full size 3x3x3 shield in this location here. You can also access that from the next floor up though. So we go to the top floor, and this is what this one's looking like. It's I decided not to. I was going to have like another. I was going to split this up into two floors, but I ran into issues. I couldn't get the elevator up tall enough, and then it would have just been fluff stuff up there because I really didn't have anything important to put up there. So I just made the ceiling higher in this one, and kind of called it good. There wasn't that much room there. But if I had the elevator go up further, I would have had to modify the structure here some more, and it's just going to add more costs and not really accomplish anything. So I got rid of that. I moved these windows. They used to be sitting down below, and I kind of moved them up so you got some visibility on the top farm that you can see. And then I slammed in a bunch of fuel tanks along the sides over here. Maybe those should be oxygen tanks. I got quite a bit of both in here. Then you got here's your main shield area here, and then the protection tank can be installed right above there. And that is pretty much the base. Again, you got these grow lights all over the place. So there's these grow light sensors. Now, things I want to do before I release the base yet. Something I did forget to do, and that is to put in a full medical bay. I'm planning on doing that this afternoon, hopefully, and I'm going to probably target this corner. It has 2 ammo boxes. Each of these have 14K storage. I'll move them. I'll rearrange this area and try to get a medical bay on the hangar floor. I think that would be the best place to put it in the base. It would be most convenient, especially if you're hurt coming in after whatever encounter you might have had. You can quickly get to the medical bay on the first floor here. And then I need to add a sensor somewhere. I got to find a location to put it to activate a teleporter on this side. I removed the back LCD work where it says 640K. It was a solid like blue line that kind of lined up with the frame. But the problem with that is this text kept on disappearing depending on what angle you would look at it at. So now I don't like it that I removed it. So I kind of want to change this and add a couple lines on at least the top and bottom of where that number is there. And I also forgot to add a couple LCDs for these back 320K storage bays here. That's no big deal, really quick thing to do. And then I was thinking about making a new LCD that could go over where all these grow light switches are maybe provide a little bit of information or something like that. That's just kind of one of those ideas. I don't know if I really want to do that or not. It's pretty self-explanatory right now, but I think it would look a little bit sharper if it had an LCD there instead of just decal of that doesn't mean anything, pretty much. So spec-wise on the station, or not station, on the base, so it's unlock level 10, 6 hour and 30-minute build time. It requires a lot of carbon and a lot of iron to build this. Of course, I wanted to originally build it and started building it in concrete, but then I realized I could not texture it correctly at all for the theme or the for the Imperial faction that I've been trying to do. It wouldn't match anything else. If this were a Scar base, I could have done that. I could have it had the base metal that I would have used for Scar, but not the Imperial faction. So a lot of carbon, which is basically a bunch of wood and a bunch of iron. It does use a little bit of estrium and zirconium, and I got to pinpoint the part that's actually using this. I'm not sure. I think it might be the armor repair, and maybe if that's the case, I'll just put in a placeholder for that as well and leave that out of the base to get rid of the need for that. But other than that, it's pretty light on everything else. Still, takes a little bit. It has a total capacity of 272 grow plots in here. 6 furnaces that can hold up to 8 constructors or deconstructors. And then 12 640K storage and 6 320K storage and 2 ammo boxes at 14K apiece. And CPU-wise, it's in Reforged Eden. It is Tier 1. Has 1 basic CPU core in it. So, brings it to 165. It's using 154 of that, at least stock. Another big thing that I was constantly messing with this particular build in specifically is structural integrity. Let me show you what that's at right now. Come on. There we go. So it's doing pretty good right now. It's not going to collapse. Its weakest point is at the top middle right over here, but it's not weak enough to collapse. It's not in the bright red collapse zone. And one thing that's a little deceiving in here is it shows all lights in pink, like they're going to collapse, even when they're firmly mounted to a non-collapsing wall. So I believe this should be good too. I might have to try to spawn this in a actual survival game and see what happens, but it should not have any collapsing if it's firmly placed on the ground, at least. Now it's pretty solid on the bottom, so there's not like little pillars and beams for the most part that you have to worry about supporting. Just maybe a little bit on these solar panel arrays around there. Anyway, it's almost done. So my plan is right now to I want to do some of the things I talked about in the video, which is going to take probably a couple hours yet to wrap up all these little odds and ends, and then maybe I'll try to potentially release it tomorrow, if not Thursday this week. I know I keep on delaying this, but this I keep on thinking it's going to take less time than it really is, and that's kind of I have that problem with a lot of things. Sometimes, some of these little things, like I probably spent 2 hours last night reconfiguring and redesigning the solar panel arrays to incorporate a turret and get them off the ground more. And then I was debating whether or not I should raise them up yet another block row, even beyond where they are now. But I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't hurt necessarily, but it would add more blocks and a little bit more construction time to the base cost too. So that's kind of one of those weird issues. I think it works now, and I like the position of the turrets where it should have good coverage around the base. So that is the base in Reforged Eden. Now, vanilla, I've got some huge problems with. In fact, I'm probably going to just release this as a Reforged Eden base with a note about vanilla. See, a big issue with vanilla, let me hop into a vanilla session here, and is okay, to start with, the last 3 creations that I did, some of the last creations I did, the Brick Station, the Carrack, and now this one, all are taking advantage of the 640K storage. I was under the impression when I built all of these, that was a vanilla option change and the 640K worked in vanilla. I have now learned, and thanks again, Karaman, that is not true. That was a Reforged Eden thing. So I've been trying to pass these last creations off as Reforged Eden and vanilla compatible, and they technically are, but the vanilla doesn't take advantage of all this extra storage and charges you a whole lot of CPU for it. So like if you go to these 640K bays now they show up as now they show up as 320K. And it's basically got 12 wasted 320K worth of cargo extensions in the base, which blows the CPU numbers. In this version here, I added 4 advanced CPU cores. You can see where the numbers are coming out. It's slightly over, and it doesn't have any of the extra parts in it, like the furnaces, the extra constructors, the turrets, generators, shield, teleporter, all kinds of stuff. And the only way I can fix this is to modify the whole build, and it would probably take a couple hours just to accomplish this and remove tons of cargo extensions that are mostly either in these back walls back over here. Some are wrapped up around the top area, but most are below the base. So I did paint the whole bottom side of the base, by the way, too, just in case it's pretty dark. It's pretty light painting, but it is painted. But that's gonna be a nightmare. I gotta like redesign like all the cargo extensions and everything to make that work. Now they work in vanilla, obviously, but it's just half the capacity of what they should be, and huge amount of CPU costs for all the wasted materials and everything like that. So the only way that I could accomplish to have this really function well in vanilla is to put out another version of it. I can't have this work both ways, unfortunately, and I hate putting out another version of the same creation and put a lot more time into it to make it worse. You know, if you're upgrading is one thing. Like, can you imagine if you had a nice, say you got a nice car and it's got all these nice features, and then you're told, well, you gotta like lower the horsepower and take off the nice rims and tires and get rid of the stereo because, well, you just got to do that, and you got to spend a lot of time to do that too, to make it worse than what it already was. It's a real downer, and I don't know exactly what to do about the whole vanilla thing on here. I don't really want to do all that, and I don't really want to release 2 versions of the same base, and then it's got the solar panel problem. Now, one thing that's taken me off guard here is if you take a look at this creation when I go to spawn it. I'm in vanilla right now. It's not showing in red, and it's got 24 solar panels on it, and they appear to be working. So I expected this to show up in red because of the solar panel count, but it didn't do that. And that kind of, okay, I'm cool with that. It's just it surprised me. I figured it was gonna be in red, and I was gonna have to strip a bunch of solar panels off from here and other things to make that number comply with vanilla as well. But it didn't. Big problem is CPU, and because of the wasted cargo extensions that it can't utilize. And that's, I kind of wish I would have known that before I'd have done these projects. Again, I was under the impression that this was a vanilla feature change and not a Reforged Eden feature change. So I'm like, yeah, okay. 640. I like the idea of 640 a whole lot better. First, I like the idea of a larger storage capacity, but second, when you're building these things that have a lot of storage in them, you waste less room to separate the storage base. Essentially, like if this had instead 24 320K storage bays instead of the 12 640s, I couldn't fit that many in here. I would have had too many wasted blocks in between individual cargo extension systems. I would have had to lower that down probably by 4 to 6 at least. And that's why I like the 640Ks. So you can get more in a smaller area, and not have all that wasted block to stuff to separate them. Kind of wish it didn't work that way. Now I kind of wish you could actually, if you had a storage array and one connected to like storage controller 1, then it would be assigned to storage controller 1. And if you, I don't know if that would work out so well either. I was just thinking if there was a way to like assign the cargo extensions to a particular storage bay, and then therefore you could have like other cargo extensions directly touching them, but they would be actually belong to a different storage bay. But that could get kind of tricky, I think, in the end too. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. The whole vanilla translation Reforged Eden thing, it's kind of nightmarish to really deal with. That's why I'm kind of in the camp where it's like I like to have things, if possible, dual compatible, but it's getting very difficult to do that. Only some kinds of creations you can kind of do that with, and it usually has to do with starter like things. Once you get anything else going on that's bigger or more elaborate, or a combat ship or tank or anything else, you just can't really get away with it anymore. The Reforged Eden has too many useful and alternative weapons and parts and thrusters and shield things and everything else under the sun, and now including storage and a different way of charging for storage. Actually, it's kind of free-ish in Reforged Eden, where vanilla charges you a lot of CPU for storage. And that's a big difference there too. So it's really, really difficult to try to make anything, if it's going to be up to date in Reforged Eden, to be compatible with vanilla. Again, some kinds of creations can kind of work that way, especially starter CVs seem to be fairly compliant with that, and some other starter type creations. But once you get anything more elaborate, you're gonna be damned if you do or damned if you don't. If you don't accommodate all the Reforged Eden stuff, it's gonna suck for Reforged Eden players. And if you put all that stuff in there, then it's not gonna be usable for vanilla players. It kind of catch-22 any way you look at it. So I think what I'm gonna do, I'll release this base. I'll say it's Reforged Eden only. It is technically compatible with vanilla, as there's no illegal parts on it except for the solar panel count, which vanilla, for whatever reason, doesn't seem to care about, at least in creative mode. But it's going to blow the CPU. It's going to waste a lot of storage space, and it just sucks. It just sucks that all has to take place. Then again, I would hate to just go back and just build for vanilla, because then it would be like, basically really haven't got anything new to work with in a couple years, part-wise, or very, very little, put it that way, where Reforged Eden added a lot of stuff. And that, of course, I want the more stuff, the merrier, I think most people would be that way. If they like a game, they want more stuff for it. So, yeah, anyway, in the end, I just wanted to show you where I'm at with this, and give me probably Thursday is when I plan on getting this to the workshop, and that'll give me some time where I don't feel all rushed and stuff. I do that a lot. I try to, like, up my release date. I always make the mistake of saying, oh, I plan on getting this out this time, and then it's like, oh, God. I often underestimate the amount of things that actually are needed before I release it. Plus, releasing something requires some more time in the mix as well, for screenshots and Steam posts and uploading things and whatever. So anyway, that's all I've got for today. I just wanted to show you the completed base, and I'm kind of looking forward to building some new things. I got a couple ideas. Excalibur's challenge this month is to build a HV tank. Kind of looking forward to that. It's been a while since I built a tank. I got some ideas in my head. I kind of want to mix things up a little bit again. On my last tanks, I don't know, they were very turret focused, and certain design things that I did to make them kind of wedgy and stuff like that. And I was thinking about kind of mixing everything up and trying a different design entirely. I want it to look like a pretty cool looking future sci-fi looking tank. It's just my only concern is, how well will it work in game versus the other way I've been doing tanks, which I'm kind of, it, yeah, you know. I'll get more into that when I actually do that. But I plan on doing a build series on the tank. I figured that would be not a super huge time-consuming project where I could probably show most of what's going on and then learn some things along the way, because I have not dealt with tanks and shields as of late, or HVs and shields and things like that as for a while. I don't even know how all that's going to work out, and there's a lot of different weapons I can put on tanks. And I was actually thinking of a tank that is more focused on fixed firing as opposed to turret combat. Now, I'm sure it'll have some turrets on it, but primarily use of the turrets, what I was thinking of, it would be for shooting down drones or enemy guys on the ground and stuff like that. And you would actually be lining up and shooting the targets you want to shoot with the tank. That's one thing that always kind of annoyed me when you have a lot of automated turrets, is directing them where you want them to shoot. Like often, even with the HV tanks that I do have, fighting POIs, it's like there's a turret right in front of me. I want all my fire to take that turret out instantly, but my turrets are shooting everywhere but where I want them to shoot at, and that I don't like. So if you had more fixed weapons, you could line up your shots and take out exactly what you wanted, but have some turrets obviously to take down the drones and the other junk flying around, and the dudes with the rocket launcher and the little mech guys, and the Talon with their plant fibers and stuff. Anyway, you all have yourself a great day, and I should have a video out probably Thursday, as well as getting this thing to the workshop, hopefully all tweaked out and stuff by then. Anyway, I'll talk to you later, everybody.